Well, that was Jared Carabas of Underdog Fantasy just a couple of days ago here on the Baseball Hour, talking about Roman Anthony, his rampage through AAA, how he's been hitting everything in sight. 2 more hits today. Worcester scored 20 runs today. And I would say the biggest upset of that game is that Roman Anthony really didn't do much. 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored. That was it. But the rest of it, again, 20 runs scored. Marcelo Meyer had 7 RBI. He was 2 for 7 with a home run. I think they hit 4 or 5 home runs, Worcester did, in the game. But honestly, you don't care about any of that. You care about Meyer, you care about Anthony, and you care about the Red Sox overall. So this is where we're going to start tonight. 617-779-0985. Open up the phones right away. You want to get in early, get in quickly. I understand it's a holiday weekend. A lot of people cut out early, and while it's not your true holiday weekend, I mean, a lot of people had today off, but it's not a federal holiday, I don't think. And a lot of people don't have Monday off. In other words, many people are working Friday and Monday. It's still a holiday weekend.
It's a vacation week, though. Next week.
Well, so there's that, too. Very, very important. Very good point, Matt. April vacation next week, so a lot of people cut out. Zoe, for example, is going to be away, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so 617-779-0985. I want to start with Roman Anthony, because typically we do on Roundtable Fridays opening takes. We kind of treat it like Agenda Free on Felger and Maz. But today, I think we're all consumed with Anthony, so that's where we're going to start. And I'll ask, let me read this to you first, this comment from Craig Breslow last week, talking about Roman Anthony and the Red Sox explanation for keeping him in AAA at the moment, in part because he has a shoulder injury, that is shoulder injury in quotes, that is limiting him to a designated hitter or not. He cannot play the outfield at the moment. And by the way, the injury, shoulder soreness, minor shoulder soreness, for whatever that is worth. But this comment by Breslow, developmentally getting him a little more comfortable playing in the outfield, Breslow said. And then also getting him exposed to left on left, meaning left-handed pitching.
Maz, over the last 2 years, Roman Anthony, over a 900 OPS against left-handed pitchers.
Right, so he hits lefties, but he goes on to say making sure he can handle that. He's done significant damage versus right-handed pitchers. We trust that long-term. It's not going to be an issue, but in the short term, giving him a chance to get exposed to left-handed pitching is the thing that is front of mind right now. Okay, should he be here? Yes or no? Just give me your thoughts on Anthony. Let's start with McCarthy.
Yeah, Roman Anthony should be here right now. Plain and simple. He is tearing up Worcester. Jared Carabas' term, he has beat the game at AAA. He has beat the game at AAA. And I think more importantly, now we need to start asking the question, why is he not here? Because the two things you just said, Maz, I don't buy. The left-handed hitting thing, as Milliken just alluded to, he's hit lefties all throughout the minors. And the defense in the outfield thing, I'm sorry, Christian Campbell is here, and he can't play second base or center field right now, and they don't seem to care about that. But all of a sudden they care about defense with Roman Anthony. Nope, I smell a rat. There's something wrong here as to why Roman Anthony is not here. He has gone to Worcester. He has proven he is ready for the big leagues. They need more of an impact offense. They need more of an impact hitter right now. Roman Anthony could provide you that. He should be in the lineup for the Boston Red Sox tonight, not the Worcester Red Sox.
I couldn't agree more. And people want to cite just the 16 games he's played this year where the OPS is over 1,000. He has 51 games at the level now. He did get up there for the last 2 months last year. It's 330, 458, 559, 1016. It's essentially the same OPS, including last year's numbers, with the start to this year.
So, Tyler, just go slower. These are career numbers at AAA?
Correct. 330 batting average.
51 games.
Yep, 51 games.
Okay, go ahead.
330 batting average, 458 on base percentage, 559 slugging, and a 1016 OPS. That's 72% better than the league average hitter at AAA.
Okay, so he's ripping apart AAA,
yes.
Not just this year, but he did it last year.
Correct, and he doesn't turn 21 for another 25 days.
Okay, so now the obvious question, I have a bunch of questions for you guys tonight that we're going to get to, because the Red Sox really have this roster logjam or bottleneck with a bunch of guys really sort of fitting into the same areas. That means somebody's going to have to change positions here in order to accommodate all these guys, which we'll get to in a minute. But why isn't Roman Anthony here? If he is ripping up AAA, I don't buy the shoulder injury. I'm sorry. I think it's bullcrap. Because here's the other thing. You could DH him if you move Devers. Okay, which brings me to, when I say move Devers, put Devers at first base and take Casas out of the lineup. And I understand these are big moves, but why isn't he here? And I know, Tyler, I know you have an interesting theory that a lot of people don't necessarily know, but spell it out.
Yeah, so it comes down to the PPI pick, which if you aren't familiar with it, it's essentially something that came in after the 2022 bargaining agreement where, at that time, a lot of teams would wait 2 or 3 weeks into a season to promote a top prospect to ensure they got an extra year. At that time, the players and the owners argued. They worked out a deal where, hey, if you put that player on your roster within the first 2 weeks of the season or opening day and they win Rookie of the Year, guess what? You're going to get a pick right after the first round. And if you do this and they finish top 3 in MVP or Cy Young voting the next 3 years, you'll also have a chance at a pick then. Now, if they win Rookie of the Year, you don't get that. But if they don't win Rookie of the Year the next 3 years, you'll still have a shot if they're as much of a star as you think they're going to be.
Okay, so Tyler, just to be clear, is there a chance when you bring a rookie up?
Yep.
If he plays the full season and he wins Rookie of the Year, you get a draft pick.
Yep.
And then if he also wins MVP, you get a second pick?
No, so you only
get one of the two.
Correctly. So Bobby Witt Jr. is the best example. He got the pick for finishing top 3 in MVP voting recently, despite not winning Rookie of the Year initially.
And those picks are top 35 in the draft.
Exactly. So
just after the first round.
Think the competitive balance pick that they just got for the Quinn Priester trade a week ago.
Okay, so now that again, this gets confusing for fans. But the time has already passed for Roman Anthony to qualify as having a full year of service. In other words, the Red Sox could bring him up now, have him for the rest of this year, and then have him for the full 6 other years beyond that. So they really get him for, let's call it 6.8 seasons, right? Usually after 6, you're done for free. You go to free agency. But because that's in the middle of a year for him, he finishes that year, they almost get 7 years out of him.
Unless he comes up this year and he finishes first or second in Rookie of the Year voting. So he doesn't need to win it. He just needs to finish first or second. So not only calling him up at this point would you not be eligible for that Rookie of the Year win, you also would not be eligible if he wins MVP in the next 3 years, and you would lose arguably his age 27 season, which would be a prime year that's worth, as you see in Juan Soto terms, a ridiculous amount of money if he's the player you believe he's going to be.
So don't you love this, McCarthy? Yeah, don't you love this, that the danger for the Red Sox here is that he comes up and he's too good?
Right, that's exactly how I'm taking this. So just to clarify, Milliken, if they bring up Roman Anthony right now, because they did not bring him up at the start of the season, if he were to finish first or second in Rookie of the Year voting, which is possible given he's tearing up, he's the number 1 prospect in baseball and is tearing up AAA. So if he finishes first or second in Rookie of the Year voting, the Red Sox lose a year of control on Roman Anthony.
He would get a full year of service for this year, which would result in what Maz was describing.
So just for finishing in the top 2.
Correct. He doesn't even have to win.
So he hits free agency 1 year earlier.
Correct.
So they're thinking about 2032, not 2025.
The question is, how much are they willing to weigh that and balance that in a year where they've talked about the dial? It's now at the present. It's not the future, right? These are games you hear the Rays and the A's playing because they're so worried that 1 year could be make or break for their franchise or a competitive window. Here, if you're a Red Sox fan or you're talking about Craig Breslow, if they're choosing to value this over, an extra month for that player where we talk, a game or two could be the difference between the division, a wild card spot, all these things. And if you believe this guy who is tearing up AAA, who is the best prospect in the sport, Roki Sasaki got the number 1 spot. He's not a real prospect. Let's not put him in that light. That's what they're playing the game of. Do we wait to call him up until June because there's a chance that he's going to collect his numbers over the course of the year and put himself in that race and maybe even cost them Christian Campbell winning Rookie of the Year, why do you think the extension was signed after opening day? Because if it was signed before opening day, he would not have been eligible for that pick.
Yeah, so they're managing that whole thing. They're trying to get more draft picks out of it.
This is the answer, Maz. This is why Anthony isn't up here.
This makes perfect sense. Again, I think some people might be confused by this, but the bottom line is if Roman Anthony comes up and plays well enough to finish first or second in the Rookie of the Year voting, the Red Sox lose the extra year that they'd be able to keep him. Okay, so think about that. Dalton and Dedham, what do you got, Dalton?
How we doing? I'm not confused about the whole situation you're saying about getting the years with Roman Anthony. I think the situation is with them. They're missing out on a great opportunity this weekend with the Marathon Monday. The Fenway's going to be packed. This is the perfect time to bring this kid up, show him how much of a star he really is. But I think they're more worried about rooting Tristan Casas' value. Because if they ever want to move this guy right now, you need to have him in the lineup. You need to have him produce for you guys, because at the deadline, the Red Sox are going to be in contention. They're going to need pitching. We all know they're going to need pitching. If you want to move Casas has to produce. So that's why they're going to try to keep him in the lineup, try to keep his value high. But if you do this, you bring Anthony in, Anthony outstars him, then Casas' value goes right down the tube.
Yep, and Casas is buried and it's over. Matt, factor or not factor?
It's a factor, but you can avoid it because you can put Anthony in left field and you can put Duran in center field, and Rafaela goes to the bench or Worcester. So, listen, Casas is a huge part of this. He's a huge part of the big picture. But right now, Roman Anthony is tearing up AAA, and you need to make room for him at the major league level. Like that, period, end of story. And you can do it without taking Tristan Casas out of the lineup.
Yes, and you look at Ceddanne Rafaela. What the hell has he ever deserved to have this kind of leash in center field? I get it. The defense is incredible. He's, 97th percentile and outs above average. He's 51% below league average as a hitter this year. And he doesn't have the track record that a Tristan Casas has, where the previous 2 seasons, he was 20% or better. Last year, he was 21% below league average as a hitter. Rafaela has an extreme chase problem, and it's nice that he's striking out less and making a little more contact. Guess what? He's still the worst in all of baseball at
hitting,
chase, and hitting. But chase overall, that's his problem. Why does he make weak contact and he can't tap into the power? Because he's chasing and swinging at bad pitches, and that's weak contact over and over. And he's walking a little bit more, but you see the quality of the at bat. It's not major league starter quality, especially in this market.
So, look, I've been, and I say this to the fans. I grew up here watching the Red Sox. I had the good fortune of being able to cover them during some great years. They won some championships, and it's all been fabulous. But I'm not telling you how to think as a fan, but this is what I think should piss you off. That Alex Cora 4 years ago, maybe more, was talking about a lack of urgency in the organization and putting the long term ahead of the short term over and over and over again. Drove them bananas. I've said it a million times. They kept putting off playing for now because they were trying to bring these guys along in the system, and then it was eventually going to be time to play. Now we're here. It's time to play. And you know what they're doing? They're delaying the arrival of Roman Anthony and, again, putting the long term ahead of the short term. I don't know about you, but for me, goes right up there. Right up my ass.
And this is following Chris Cotillo, who followed up on this yesterday. Every time he's talked to Roman Anthony's camp and people around it, he is not interested in the team-friendly extension. Similar to Casas a couple years ago, he feels like he knows his worth, and he got $2.5 million when he signed.
Right.
Christian Campbell signed for Slot, which was $427K. Roman Anthony got $2.5 million. Comes from a good background as well. He is not in the room of saying he needs to make a deal. Christian Campbell, all camp, was like, I would love an extension. Someone pay me, please. I would love to be a Red Sox. Roman Anthony, he goes, I know damn well what I'm worth. No one's come and talked to me yet. That's cool. Making the money I am right now, the major league minimum, once I come up, that's plenty fine for me. We'll see where we are in 6 or 7 years when I'm getting the $600 million contract.
Okay, so the question then is how do you get Anthony in the lineup? And for that matter, how do you get Marcelo Meyer into the lineup? For those who want Masataka Yoshida into the lineup, how do you get him into the lineup? All legitimate questions, because the Red Sox have a logjam of players that can only handle, let's call it 2 or 3 positions overall, and they got about 5 or 6 guys that have to fit into those spots. So we'll start to dive into that. 617-779-0985 with Milliken and McCarthy on the Baseball Hour.
The Baseball Hour with Tony Mass.
Hey, it's Mass for Bigelow Tea, and I've told you this before. Was that in Tampa?
Yeah, a
that was
couple
in
nights
Tampa.
ago. Tuesday night, I think.
Okay, so I'm thinking it might have been the Chicago series, but it was the Tampa series. And I'll tell you why that's pertinent now, is because obviously the Red Sox aren't willing to, at least yet. Rafael Devers won't play third, according to Cora. They haven't worked him out at first. And I want to include Roman Anthony in this because Jared Carrabis tweeted this out today, or it was in the last couple of days. And I'm not picking on Jared, but, I'm just curious as to what drove it. So this was yesterday, I guess Carrabis tweeted it out. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Roman Anthony is not a first baseman. No, maybe he's talking to me.
He's definitely
I think he's talking to you,
Maz.
Maz.
That's a shot. Oh, Maz, how dare you suggest a way to get the top prospect in all of baseball into the Red Sox lineup? Boo, shame, boo your take, boo.
Okay, so Jimmy Stewart copied me on the tweet. Sent it to me. So Jimmy Stewart also thinks it's me. But here's my question. Why is that wrong? Why is it wrong to suggest that a way to get Anthony and Devers and whoever else into the lineup is to have someone play first base, whether it's Devers or Roman Anthony? Why is the idea of playing him at first base out?
So
Can you explain that to me? Why?
No, I'll probably let Milliken explain. He probably thinks it's crazy. I would prefer to put Devers at first base because he's played the infield before. I think going from the outfield to the infield is a tougher transition.
Sure.
I would prefer the route of Devers to first base, Anthony to left field /DH to get his bat in the lineup. That being said, is it the craziest thing I've ever heard? No, Maz. And that's what the minor leagues are for. You put him there for a few days. If it looks like he can stick, you try it out. If it doesn't look like he can stick, you say, all right, forget about it. That's what AAA is for. That's what the minor leagues are for. But Milliken's probably going to talk me down and say, shame on you for wanting to get Roman Anthony's bat in the lineup some way, somehow.
So, Milliken, let me ask you the question a different way. Is Roman Anthony opposed to playing first base?
I think there's a chance because I think he'd look at it, and when you're talking, extensions, right, in these early term deals and how a player's worth, you put someone at first base, you have dramatically reduced their value. And I think we saw that with Tristan Casas this offseason and first baseman as a whole. Nathaniel Lowe also saw this play out. First basemen are at an all-time low in this sport because of where they are on the defensive spectrum. If you play up the middle in center field or, a shortstop, you are in a immediate tier of money unless you were the biggest generational hitter a la Juan Soto. You do not see those kind of bucks. You are going to be put there unless you are one of the best hitters in the entire sport. So I do think there might be some pushback, but I can't tell you that for sure for Roman Anthony. I think more of the conversation is he's a guy who's shown he can handle center field. He's an athletic guy. He can at least be above average in either one of the corners.
Tyler,
it would be a waste.
Is he a center fielder in the big leagues?
I hate to say it. I think the Red Sox think he can stick there for a few years, which
God.
I disagree. And you want to know why? You want to know why I disagree? Because look at the way they're handling Jarren Duran, and they've already told him he's playing left field this year. That's telling me they think they can, between Duran's range and Abreu's range and left and right, make up for Anthony's lack of range. I think he's a corner outfielder. And I think he's a left fielder at Fenway. I think that's the best way to go about it, but I don't think they're willing to move him down on the defensive scale like that.
All right, let's take a couple of calls. Sean in Colorado. I'm going to ask the callers. Just try to be quick, please. Go ahead, Sean.
I'll be quick. Just wanted to get a little nerdy today, T. I saw on Baseball America, they're toting this Brandon Clark kid saying he's the next top 100 prospect, throwing, 91-mile-an-hour sweepers from the left side. I wanted to ask if you could talk a little bit about him. I'd love to know more. And is this more of a implication that the Red Sox pitching development is starting to improve? You were seeing Connolly early, Juan Blair, and tonight, we're going to see Hunter Dobbins. So could you talk maybe a little about the pitching development and infrastructure that we're starting to see in the minor leagues?
Okay, so Sean, I'll tell you what. We're going to table the pitching discussion until another segment tonight. Okay, but don't go anywhere. We'll get to it. I just want to stay on this right now. Steve's in Fall River. Steve, go ahead.
Boy, this Chaim Bloom really left them in a conundrum, Tony. They get enough prospects for 2 or 3 teams, and here's the deal.
Steve, your phone's breaking up, so I'm going to put you on hold. But before you even get going, that was a convenient interruption in your call.
McCarthy was about to jump through the mic. I could see it on his face.
No, so I will just say this, that again, nobody ever said that Chaim Bloom didn't restock the farm system. He did. We all knew that was coming. No one ever said that. The problem was what he did at the big league level. That's why he got jettisoned out of town. He couldn't keep them competitive at the big league level, and he didn't operate with enough urgency to do both. Breslow is now trying to do both. That's always what the challenge has been. And I'm not telling you it's easy. The goal was to still be good while rebuilding, and they weren't good. Drew's in a car. Drew, go ahead.
Hey, here's how I fix all these players, the player problem. Anthony in, it's ridiculous he's not up. All right, Rafael to the bench, and then you have to move 2 players in the offseason, and you could perfect this team. You've got to attach a prospect. You have to get Story off the team because I don't want Campbell in the outfield. He doesn't have a right fielder's arm in Fenway Park. He doesn't. Keeping him at second, Meyer at short, and then for the love of God, will Breslow not make the same mistake he did this offseason? And sorry, Tyler, you're going to hate me.
Drew, who's the
I'm
other?
moving Costas.
Okay.
I'm moving Costas off the team, and I want to sign Pete Alonso. It's ridiculous we did not sign Pete Alonso. Do you want the update of what he's hitting right now?
No, I'm going to let you go because, again, Pete Alonso's debatable. They got plenty of guys that can move. You're going to have to put Devers at first base in all probability or something like that. But anyway, go.
Yeah, they probably tried to trade Tristan Casas this offseason.
They definitely did.
There's no doubt about it. And they will probably try to trade him this next offseason. This Red Sox team is not done. I mean, the caller's not wrong. They are going to have to move pieces off of this team to make room for Roman Anthony, to make room, if you feel, for Marcelo Meyer. I'm not totally convinced the Red Sox are sold on Marcelo Meyer. That's just my sense. But in some ways, Maz, you said this to me many years ago. I think you got this from Theo. He told you this. The best teams are implementing and integrating about 1 prospect a year.
1 to 1.5, yeah.
The Red Sox are in right this year, and I guess it's a good problem to have, but you're essentially asking them to implement and integrate 3 prospects.
Correct.
When you're trying to figure out where guys are playing, if they can actually play at the big league level, there's a lot of risk associated with that. Don't get me wrong, the players are good, the players are talented, but we're going to be spending a lot of this year talking about, well, where's Anthony going to play? Where's Meyer going to play? Where's Campbell actually capable of playing? He can hit, but we don't know about the field. I just wonder if that's going to hurt the big league product. We just don't know. It feels like too many guys to try to implement and integrate.
I mean, Matt, it feels like it's already hurting the big league product.
It is.
But sit tight. Don't go anywhere. McCarthy's going to get you caught up on headlines. When we come back, we'll answer that pitching question. Steve from Fall River, I'll try you again. Hopefully the connection's better. So don't go anywhere.
Essentials.
do you mean happen? What do you mean happen?
No, you've been saying that. You think it's in spring training, you guys were saying we're ready to win now.
We're ready to win.
Yeah.
We're not playing good baseball. That doesn't mean that we're not ready to win. The one thing is to play bad baseball right now, and another is ready to win. We have to play better. We know that, and I said it from day one. For us to be where we want to be, we have to be consistent on the things that we do. And honestly, we've been consistently bad in the last 10 days.
That was the Red Sox. That was Cora, rather, after the Chicago series. Clearly pissed off and agitated that Pete Abraham would suggest to him that they were playing so badly that it could affect their season. Cora, bristled at the comment, and I think it was a totally fair question. What's wrong is what he was asking. Cora got his back up. But I will say that, I think Cora was agitated by the way they were playing. And I think he relayed that to the players. So they've been better the last couple of games. Now, again, to me, it's all about what happens going forward. I said this earlier today. I'll just make this quick. That if you look at the numbers, I don't have them in front of me anymore. I had them at 2 o'clock. But if you look at the numbers over the last 6 years, over the last 5 years, over the last 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, you know what the Red Sox have been? Consistently mediocre or bad. 500 or sub 500, basically, for the last 6 years. So they're 10-10 right now. What are we supposed to think? So what, just because all of a sudden you made a trade and all of a sudden everything's fixed? You still have to play the freaking games. The wins don't just show up because some computer program says that they're going to show up and you're going to win. It drives me bananas.
And you see the sensitivity because I think now he knows the excuses of, hey, Chaim Bloom didn't give me enough, or even last year where Craig Breslow didn't spend much money and they had lowered payroll.
Roster's good enough.
It's blames on me. Look around. There's no excuse for why your team leads MLB in errors right now. It's on Alex Cora. How many people are you going to fire? Carlos Feblis, Andy Fox, you're going to kick out and not, it's his fault. He couldn't teach these guys how to field ground balls. No, all of a sudden the guy in Alex Cora who tells you every chance he gets. He was a middle infielder. Did you guys know that?
I've
Do you know
heard that,
defense
yes.
was the reason he could stick in the big leagues?
Sure, yeah.
You say it over and over again, and it almost becomes even more insulting that his teams, for every year except 2018, have not been able to field. Yeah, that's the truth.
This is my biggest concern, Maz. I think they have the talent. I think they're a good enough team to be a playoff team. We've talked about the weakness of the American League, all of that. Do they know how to win? Have they brought these players up in a losing culture? And that's the type of thing. You might have the numbers ready to go. I don't know if you do. But over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, they have consistently not won baseball games. This is the environment that you've brought Jarren Duran up and Tristan Casas up in. The core of the team has no clue how to win. And is that going to eventually hurt them this year? I mean, that is my biggest question with this team. Do they know how to win?
They've gotten good at losing. Steve in Fall River, let's try again. Go ahead, Steve.
Tell me, I'm going to come back to it in a second, Maz. Tell me how many errors Alex Bregman has this year.
4.
And I wanted 4. There's 6 months in the year. There's 24 errors. He had 10 last year.
Correct.
Rafi Devers had 12. So when he says I got to
16, but go ahead.
Fox Sports said he had 12.
Well, Fox Sports is wrong. Keep going.
Okay, what do you want me to tell you? The guy wants to – I'm not going to go down to him. The bottom line is you complained about Chaim Bloom because he wasn't making deadline trades and he wasn't this, had no urgency. Can you imagine if deadline trades were made and you lost some of these guys? Maybe you gave away a player that we used this last offseason to acquire people.
I know, Steve. I don't know what the hell they would have done without Ceddanne Raffaello. I mean, that would have put them under. And this is the point. You can't keep them all, Steve. Okay, this is the point. You can't keep them all. So, and it's not just the deadline deals. So, Steve goes up my ass. So, he takes everything and brings it to an extreme that nobody ever said. And frankly, I think he should be a talk show host. He makes up half the stuff with straw men.
I wouldn't listen.
No one ever listen. First of all, Marcelo Meyer fell into his lap. Okay, but you want to give him. That was the number 4 pick after they sucked at COVID. It's the highest they've ever picked. Meyer was projected at number 1 by some people. He slipped. They took him. Good for them. But it's not like they discovered Marcelo Meyer. Meanwhile, Franchi Cordero, they had no first baseman. Even when they got Schwarber, they had no first baseman. So there was an absence of urgency at the big league level. And that was true whether they were talking about the trading deadline or the offseason. It's not just the trade market. But you don't have to keep every guy in your system. The guys who do that are scared. That's why Ben Sherrington lost his job. And he kept many of the good ones too. And he kept Betts, he kept Bogarts, he kept Devers. So yes, they kept those players.
He also kept Garin Cicchini and Anthony Renato and Drake Britton.
Bingo!
And like all of the above.
The trauma of my childhood. And I'll add,
you have to know which prospects are the real prospects and which ones are the fake prospects.
It's also understanding what ownership thought is the vision. And in 2021, it was never supposed to be a 4 or 5 year rebuild. When they made it to the ALCS in 2021, that was supposed to be them moving in the right direction and going up. What happens the next year? You hand this money to Trevor Story, Xander Bogaerts ends up walking, and you absolutely botch the 2022 trade deadline. That was the moment they lost faith in Hein Bloom. When the fact that he could not get under the luxury tax, when the whole world knew you were not going to make the playoffs, when you were supposed to sell, and you made a great trade, one of the best trades of Bloom's tenure, the Christian Vasquez trade, where you got Wilyer Abreu and Emmanuel Valdez. But when you messed that deadline up and it forced you to have to punt on 2023 to get back under in 2024, he was not able to convince them that he had the plan moving forward. And he tried. Kenley Jansen, Chris Martin, and Masataka Yoshida. So you look at the money that he spent on the Story in the Yoshidas, it put them in the spot where those rosters the next 2 years, he was not able to get them to the playoffs. And you could complain and say, damn, they should have let him invest more, or whatever it may be. They wanted to see pitching develop, and those things take steps forward. He did a great job of doing it on the prospect side, bringing in Jason Okar to drive line. On the pitching side, he never was able to do it.
Yeah, look, the job is not just the job isn't just developing the minor leaguers.
No.
Okay, if you're going to do just that, you can go work in Tampa.
St. Louis.
You can go work in St. Louis is a big market. Eventually, he's going to have to win some games there.
But they're not spending, and that's why bringing him in for 3 or 4 years, build up the farm system, and you will spend like a mid-market team.
Then be a farm director. Okay, if you're doing that, you're a farm director. You're not a GM. That's the part that Stephen Fall River doesn't get. Dan's in Maine. Dan, go ahead.
Hey, a combo that hasn't been talked about, and I don't know if this is possible, but put Noodle Arm Campbell at first, Meyer at second, Anthony in left, put Rafaela as kind of your ultra utility man, and that would solve a lot of I think.
Okay, so I haven't heard this proposal yet, but you guys tell me whether it's possible. Well, Campbell at first, yes or no?
You should be supportive of it, Maz, because you want to put Roman Anthony there. I'll tell you why I don't think they would want to do it. I think they think Campbell's too athletic to play first base, and they think he belongs in the middle of the diamond. They're making a projection on Campbell. The whole Marcelo Meyer thing at second base, guys, I wouldn't count on seeing Marcelo Meyer maybe this year if you don't have any injuries at the big league level. I think they're content to keep him in Worcester. That's just my read on it.
Yeah, they're not going to put Christian Campbell at first base because not only does he not have the experience there, but look at last year when they were playing him at every position. This is part of the reason he looked so rough at second base. He was at second, third, short, left, center field, and they never cared to put him at first base because they look at him as too athletic. He's not a fit at that position.
Can Campbell play center field?
Well, right now, no.
Can he play center field ever?
Maybe in a couple years. He could be average.
The arm concerns me. The arm's a real problem. I think he's probably a second baseman, and you have to hope that he figures it out at that position.
I think it's insulting that they play him in center field over Jarren Duran, who was one of the best defensive center fielders in the sport last year.
So why are they doing it?
Because I think they believe in a couple years Campbell could have the worth of being out there in the outfield, a la Mookie Betts in certain ways.
In center field?
Center field, left field, right field, but a premium center or right where they like to, center fielders in their eyes.
I hate that comparison. Mookie was good instantly in center field. He was a natural at it. I got texts 3 days into Mookie Betts' tenure in center field in Portland after they moved him from second base, and I got a text, I'll never forget it, said, McCarthy, this kid is better in center field than he is in second base, and I said, I don't believe you. Because there's no way. And he said, trust me on this. So that's not Campbell. It's not like he doesn't have a position right now. Like, let's not jump to conclusions on this kid. He can't field right now.
And I agree with McCarthy. I don't think he'd ever be a Gold Glove center fielder. I think he could become average with athleticism, with time. They tell you, well, he's never played one position consistently. If you let him do that, he'll get good. Well, hey, now you're playing him in center field once a week. So are you really allowing him to get good at one position before playing him everywhere? But that's today's game. It's all about versatility. That's what these guys want, and that's what they value because they want to be able to mix this lineup in many ways as they can or plug in different pieces over the offseason.
Okay, so look, they clearly have a glut of people, left-handed bats, who are either a corner outfielder, let's just say left field to make it easy, because right field at Fenway Park really requires a center field type of range. And that's been true for decades, and that's not going to change.
Real quick, I think Abreu might be the only right fielder they have in the organization right now.
Okay, so
for Fenway Park right field.
So then when you look at left field and you say you have Durant, you have Anthony, potentially you have Campbell in that mix, but whatever, let's leave him out of it at the moment. They have Yoshida potentially to fit in there. So they're going to have to bite the bullet on some of these guys. There's no way they can all stay. Let me ask you both a quick question. Why hasn't Rafael Devers started working out at first base yet, as far as we know? Why hasn't that happened? Is there a reason it hasn't happened?
My guess is they're concerned about messaging right now. I wonder if that was a bit of a trial balloon from Dave O'Brien the other night to see how the fans would react to it. I think they're probably also concerned
how the fans would react to it, or how Devers would react to it.
And how Tristan Casas will react to it. This also might be a way to try to light a fire under Tristan Casas' ass. I would do it, because I think, again, with all this logjam talk we've had tonight, guys, you need as many options as possible. And one of the best ways to open things up, if Casas does not start hitting, is to have Rafael Devers play first base if he can. Give it a shot. And then Roman Anthony's your DH or Christian Campbell's your DH, and there you go. It gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, I think there's also the reasoning when they asked him to move positions, it was with Tristan Casas. You're immediately telling everyone if he's getting reps at first base, and I think he should be getting them the whole time because you don't have the depth there. But are they already out on Tristan Casas? Does that lower the stock? Does that show they don't believe in the player? And that feeds into Casas. Who knows? Yeah, the Red Sox told him all offseason, you're not in trade rumors. He's not stupid. Anybody who's paid attention to the sport, you talk to anyone around the sport, they'll tell you Casas was on every call they were making and doing whatever. And I think with Devers, a little sensitivity of changing those positions. Hey, we're going to get you a DH. You get comfortable there. You figure it out. Once you're comfortable there, then we'll start exploring some other opportunities when we have a little bit more information and you're not as angry as you were when we sprung it on you after you were already down in Fort Myers for 6 weeks.
2 seconds, though. They've already lowered Casas' value. They're saying he's a platoon player. Like, at this point, bite the bullet.
Yeah, they got to get him playing well. I mean, if they want to get anything for him, they have to get him playing well.
Which I don't think you're far
from.
First-round
pick, yeah. I mean, but his defense has gotten, I don't want to say it's gotten worse, hasn't improved at all, Tyler.
He does the same.
His defense has not improved. Hold the thought, because I want to get to the pitching, and we only have one segment left, so we'll do that when we come back on the Baseball Hour. ever turn into the player that you think they're going to be.
Every star was a prospect at one point, Maz.
Okay, every star, and so was every bum.
Good take. That's a good counter. I can't hate on that.
And there are a lot more. There are a lot more bums in the big leagues. That I just. The Milliken drives me freaking bananas. You like them all.
Not all of them, but there's certain ones I like a lot.
He likes the vast majority of them, man.
So now, which leads me to this question, which we're going to do quickly, Milliken, because we have like 2 minutes. Okay, and people other than you do have things to say.
I agree. Go ahead.
Okay, so but the pitching in the system.
Yes.
And I'm loath to do this because I know that you're going to rave about it.
Is the pitching down after this take?
Is the pitching in the system getting any better?
Significantly better. 5 out of the top 11 prospects. Listen, I'm going to tell you that. Now, prospect-wise, on the position side, they need some work. It is not like it has been in recent years when the big three are fully up in the big leagues, and it is what it is. The next wave, it's kind of Franklin Arias and everybody else. You're hoping Mikey Romero keeps hitting well. He's going to get shipped out by the middle of the year, more likely than not. But the names that you really get excited about right now, Luis Perales, who had Tommy John last summer. He had broke on to Baseball America's top 100 before he blew his elbow out. But it's the best stuff in the system. It's high 90 stuff. Made some adjustments with the cutter and stuff that a lot of the Red Sox pitchers in the big leagues made last year, and there was a lot of success. After that, you got Juan Valera at number 7 in the system.
Okay, don't go right through the list. What I want to know is this.
Okay.
Give me the one pitching prospect in the system to watch and what level is he at.
Yeah, I think if you're talking ceiling, it's Juan Valera, who's at Greenville right now. He's 18 years old. He just got stateside, and he's looked incredible so far this year. And it's stuff that you kind of dream on overall.
How big is he?
He's on the shorter side. It's definitely not the biggest body you've ever seen. Or no, it's 6'3", but he's 205. He's skinny.
Okay.
He's still adding weight.
6'3", 205, not bad. McCarthy,
sturdy bottom.
McCarthy, is this consistent with what you're hearing?
So normally I'd like to crap all over Milliken and poo-poo him, especially with his prospect obsession. I'll say this. I think the Red Sox are doing a much better job with their pitching development under Craig Breslow. There has been a shift. Bloom didn't give a damn about developing pitching, ignored it for years. Last year, Breslow immediately started signing and drafting young pitching, young pitching, young pitching. My sense is, in 2 or 3 years, you will see a much better pitching development and a pitching organization, a pitching farm system than you saw under Chaim Bloom.
And is that your opinion, or are you hearing that?
It's both.
Okay. It's good to know.
I think
with Milliken, is that your opinion, or are you hearing it?
Both. I think it's both. I feel that way. And if you look at national-wise, everyone's saying the stuff on the backfield for the Red Sox this spring was the best they had seen in at least a decade.
But it's far away. It's in the low minors right now.
Which
Great. That's wonderful.
But
again, you can't tell anything until Double-A if you ask my opinion. But anyway, go ahead.
I think there's some guys. You look at a Connolly early at Double-A right now who's shown up this year, and he's absolutely shoving. 96.8 miles per hour from the left side with a really good changeup. He actually went to school with Kyle Teal. They got drafted in the same class. But someone with stuff, 96, 97 from the left side, you haven't had that kind of stuff in the system. And you look at the Richard Fitz of the world, the Hunter Dobbins. These feel like guys who could actually be starting pitchers in the big leagues. The guys they had brought up in recent years, there was Brian Matas of the world that you clung to 2 or 3 years back. It was more likely a reliever profile, and you knew that the entire time. These guys, it feels like the floor is more of a 5th starter or a 4th starter.
Yeah, I don't want 5th starters and want 4 starters. I want higher than that.
Juan Valera is that.
Okay, fine. That's the guy.
Hitting 100 at 18?
Okay, that's the guy I want to pay attention to. I don't give a rat's ass about a lefty who throws hard who's going to be like a bullpen guy. I got no use for that. Anyway. This is a big smile on your face, McCarthy.
Always fun. I like watching you yell at Milliken.
It's different
because it's not me yelling at Milliken.
No, the good news is that, I leave here with a headache on Fridays after dealing with Milliken. I feel like banging my head against the wall.
Love watching Milliken get yelled at.
Milliken, I love you like a son.
Sorta.
I love you like a brother-in-law, Milliken.
Anyway, Mark Tondero coming in. He's filling in for Joe Murray. We've already sunk into his time. So, Mark, anything particular you're going to get to?
Why is Juan Valera any different than Brian Bale?
That's awesome. If you're comparing him to Brian Bale, that's a good conversation.
Hit the button, please.
I was going to. What are you going to be talking about?
Celtics, Tatum, getting ready for the playoffs.
Celtics, Tatum, getting ready for the playoffs with Tondero. Everybody have a nice weekend. We'll catch you Monday.
See ya.
Bigger Brian Bale.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios is Boston's home for sports.
Holiday 3. Good night. Jalen forces it up.